Okay, so AI, it's everywhere right now, huh? Everyone's saying it's either gonna like save the world or totally destroy it. No in between.
And that's exactly what makes this deep dive we're doing so interesting. These sources, they cut through all that hype and go straight to the human element. How are we reacting to AI? What are the emotional traps? How do we stay level-headed in all this craziness?
Yeah, exactly. Like, haven't we been here before just with some shiny new like tech toy to freak out about?
Right.
Guillermo, he actually mentions this, almost getting sucked into that whole .com bubble thing. Like, he even thought about starting, get this, an online fax service.
Which is such a good point, because it shows how human this all is,
Yeah.
This fear of missing out, this FOMO. It doesn't matter if it's internet faxing back in the 90s or whatever the AI thing of the day is. That urge to jump on the bandwagon it's powerful.
Totally. And the thing is, he doesn't just point the problem out. He gives us a way to like actually deal with it.
Yeah.
4 strategies, he calls them. So first, you got to understand the tech before you even think about investing in it. Don't just buy the hype.
I love that.
Then form your own conclusions based on real research, not just whatever everyone else is saying.
Yes. And he's really big on like avoiding those limited time offer tricks. You know the ones. They're designed to like totally short circuit your brain and make you do something impulsive because FOMO.
Oh, for sure. His third point is all about protecting yourself financially. Don't gamble away your savings just because something sounds like the next big thing. Be smart.
Absolutely. And his last piece of advice, this is where it gets really good. He wants us to like roll up our sleeves and try this stuff ourselves. Don't just read about ChatGPT, use it. The point is, you got to experience these tools firsthand to really get what they can and can't do.
It's interesting. He even mentions using AI to help his kids with their homework.
Right. See, it just shows how wide-ranging these applications are. He used it to organize his entire photo archive. I mean, we're talking thousands of photos here. And the AI suggested tags, generated titles, even flagged potential copyright problems. It's like having an assistant that's like incredibly efficient and never sleeps.
Speaking of AI and healthcare, he had some really interesting stuff to say about that, like how it's connecting people with doctors remotely, doing personalized health assessments. He even mentions these tools, Ada Health, K Health. Never heard of them before.
Yeah, and he doesn't shy away from the complicated stuff either. Like, how do we make sure these AI tools are transparent? Who's accountable if an AI gives you bad health advice? Is it the developers, the healthcare providers? Those are big questions.
He even gets into some deep philosophical territory. Like, what does it even mean to be human when AI can think and reason, even write creatively? He brings up some pretty heavy stuff, like those ancient Greek paradoxes about identity and change.
What's crucial here is that he's pushing for ethics to be a central part of the conversation. He argues that any AI we create, it's a reflection of us. Our biases, our values, even our fears, they all get baked in.
It's like that quote, we have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. That tension between how far we've come technologically and how totally unprepared we are emotionally and ethically to deal with it.
Right. It's not even just about AI, really. This applies to pretty much every disruptive technology throughout history. Think about the printing press, the internet. Humans have this incredible capacity for both progress and, let's face it, chaos.
So where does that leave us? Guillermo talks about the need for, he calls it extraordinary evidence, especially when it comes to AI, like those alien abduction stories he was into as a kid. He's saying AI needs more than just hype. It needs proof. Tangible evidence that it can actually solve problems we haven't been able to on our own.
And maybe, just maybe, that evidence won't come from some lab. Maybe it'll come from how we use AI, how we choose to integrate it into our lives, our work, the world at large. That's a story that's still being written.
He talks about how our current education system's like stuck in this old school industrial age mindset. Kind of funny, right? Considering he's using AI, this super advanced tech, to like rethink the whole thing.
It shows you he's not afraid to, challenge those assumptions, see the potential for good disruption. He's not just complaining, he's got a vision.
Yeah. And it's not just education he's looking to shake up. Healthcare, too.
And he goes way beyond the usual stuff, gets into specific ways that generative AI is like already making a difference. Those examples we were talking about, Ada Health, K Health, using AI for like personalized health assessments, even connecting people with doctors remotely. Amazing stuff.
Totally. But he's also honest about the possible downsides.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's bias baked into those algorithms? And how transparent are these companies, really? Who's funding them? We need to know.
Transparency is huge for him. He's really critical of how companies like Microsoft and Google, yeah, they're doing some good, but they're also using AI to, let's be honest, make more money.
So like trying to do good, but with conditions.
Exactly. He wants us to be smarter consumers, ask those tough questions. Who's really benefiting from this technology? How is it actually being used? And it's not just the practical stuff either. He gets into those really big philosophical questions about what it even means to be human now that we've got AI in the mix.
Right. He goes deep, brings up that whole ship of Theseus paradox, the one from ancient Greece, to show how our identity, it changes over time. It's not this fixed thing.
And he uses that to talk about what AI means for our sense of self. If it can think, if it can reason just like us, what makes us special? What does human even mean anymore? It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
He doesn't shy away from those big questions, does he?
Not at all. In fact, he wants us to wrestle with them ourselves. Think about the ethical side of AI. What kind of future do we want? And what happens if we make the wrong choices?
It's not all like positive vibes and good news, though. He talks about some pretty dark moments in history. Even brings up the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
He's acknowledging the two sides of human nature, right?
Yeah.
Any powerful tool, and AI is definitely that. It can be used to create or to destroy.
That godlike technology, Paleolithic emotions thing again.
Exactly. Our tech skills are way ahead of our emotional and social intelligence. And that gap, that's where things get dangerous if we don't close it.
So how do we close it? What's the answer?
He doesn't claim to have, all the answers, but critical thinking, that's a big one, and collaboration, taking responsibility for what we create. We have to be willing to ask the hard questions, talk to each other honestly, and think about the long-term consequences of what we're doing.
He keeps coming back to that idea of extraordinary evidence, especially with AI.
Totally. Just like those alien abduction stories he was fascinated by as a kid, he says, show me the proof. AI has to move past the hype, the speculation, give us real-world results that justify all the excitement, all the money being poured into it. Promises aren't enough.
And not just results that benefit a select few.
Yeah.
Right? He wants to see AI being used to make things more equitable, more inclusive for everyone.
Absolutely. And, he walks the walk. He's not just talking about AI. He's out there experimenting with it, using it in his own work, his personal life. And then he shares those experiences really openly to help other people understand what's possible.
It's like he's on this constant quest to learn, and he wants to bring us all along with him. Kind of inspiring.
It is. It's refreshing, He's not trying to keep this knowledge to himself or profit from it. He wants to share it, to make it accessible, help us all navigate this increasingly complicated world we're living in.
He even talks about using AI to analyze his own writing style. Says that helps him write more powerful stories.
He's fearless, wants to push those boundaries, see what these tools can do. But more importantly, he wants to empower other people to do the same. Anyone can be a learner, a creator, someone who contributes, even in the age of AI.
It's like he's saying, look, I'm figuring this out as I go. You can too. Let's learn together, make some mistakes, and build something amazing. He's really big on that collective intelligence idea.
He is. He really believes that if we work together, share what we know, share our experiences, we can achieve way more than we ever could on our own.
He definitely practices what he preaches, sharing his experiences. Like that time he had to, step away from his own e-learning company.
He could have just not mentioned that, but he puts it out there along with the lessons he learned. It's that honesty, that willingness to be vulnerable that makes his insights so powerful. He's not afraid to admit when he's messed up, and in doing so, he gives everyone else permission to do the same.
It's like he sees failure not as the end, but as part of the process, a stepping stone. You iterate, you adapt, you never stop learning, never stop trying to build something new.
100%. And for him, AI and those DLTs, they're essential tools for that. He's got this vision of the future where education is personalized, it's accessible to everyone, skills matter more than degrees, and everyone has the chance to live up to their full potential.
That's a powerful vision. But he's not naive about it. He knows there are challenges. The digital divide, the cost of all this technology, making sure there's quality control and that the AI itself isn't biased. Tough problems.
He doesn't shy away from those problems, and he doesn't pretend to have all the answers. What he wants is a more inclusive process for developing AI, bringing in different voices, more collaboration, putting a premium on transparency and accountability.
That go far, go together thing again.
Exactly. If we work together, if we share our knowledge, our expertise, if we hold each other accountable, then we can create a future where AI benefits everyone. He's adamant about that. Decisions about this technology, they can't be made in a vacuum.
And he's not just talking about the tech itself. It's the ethical stuff too, right? Like, how do we make sure AI is used for good? How do we keep it from being used to hurt people or take advantage of them?
He's really into what he calls ethical design. So building AI systems that are fair, that aren't biased, and that are accountable. And he's convinced that everyone needs to be part of this conversation, not just the tech people.
Which leads to one of the most interesting parts of his whole perspective. He's a huge believer in the power of stories.
Oh, yeah.
He says stories help us make sense of complicated ideas, connect with each other on a deeper level. And they inspire us to take action.
It's fascinating. He sees storytelling as this bridge between the tech world and being human. It makes AI less scary, more relatable.
He even talks about using AI to analyze, get this, and improve his own storytelling skills. He's not afraid to use these tools to be more creative himself. He even mentions this one time he used AI to help him craft a story about a group of kids who discover a hidden world in their local library. It's like he's using AI to tap into that childlike sense of wonder and possibility.
It's brilliant, really. He understands that at its core, AI is a tool for storytelling, a way to explore new ideas, push creative boundaries, and connect with each other on a deeper level. And he challenges us to use it that way.
He's definitely not afraid to challenge the status quo. He even questions the very structure of our education system, arguing that it should be less about memorizing facts and more about fostering creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking.
He envisions a world where learning is driven by passion, where anyone can be both a teacher and a student, and where technology empowers us to learn from the best minds across the globe. It's a future where education is no longer confined to classrooms or limited by geography, but a lifelong journey of discovery and growth.
And he sees AI and DLTs as key to making this vision a reality. Imagine AI tutors tailoring personalized learning paths for every student, providing real-time feedback and support.
And imagine a global talent pool powered by blockchain where skills are recognized and rewarded fairly, regardless of where you come from or what credentials you hold. It's a future where everyone has the opportunity to contribute their unique talents and reach their full potential.
It sounds incredibly optimistic, but he also acknowledges the very real challenges we face in getting there. He talks about the digital divide, the cost of technology, the need for quality control, and the potential for bias in AI itself. He doesn't shy away from the hard questions.
Which is what makes his perspective so valuable. He doesn't offer easy answers or simplistic solutions. Instead, he invites us to engage in a thoughtful, nuanced conversation about the role of AI in society. He wants us to consider the potential benefits, but also the risks and challenges. He wants us to be informed, engaged citizens, actively shaping the future of this technology.
He reminds us that AI is not some distant threat or a magical solution, but a tool that we as a society have the power and responsibility to shape. He challenges us to be more than just passive consumers of technology. He wants us to be active participants, using our voices, our skills, and our imaginations to create a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to hear what resonated most with you, what surprised you, what will you do differently or think about differently after exploring these ideas?
One thing that really stuck with me is this idea of extraordinary evidence. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype surrounding AI, but Guillermo reminds us to approach these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. We need to demand proof, to see tangible results, and to make sure that the benefits of AI are shared widely and equitably.
He even poses this really provocative question. What if we could create an AI that could solve the problems that we haven't been able to solve on our own?
It's a question that really challenges our assumptions about the limits of human knowledge and the potential of AI. It's almost like imagining contact with an alien civilization, but one that we created ourselves.
And maybe, just maybe, that's the key to unlocking our true potential as a species. Not to see AI as a threat, but as a partner, a collaborator in tackling the biggest challenges facing humanity.
It's an incredibly optimistic vision, but one that feels grounded in both real-world experience and a deep understanding of the human condition. Guillermo doesn't just want us to understand AI, he wants us to use it to build a better world. And that's a mission I can get behind.
And that's a great place to leave it. Go out there, explore, experiment, and let's create that future together.